Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. For all of you who survived the parties yesterday, we have prepared a great presentation for you. It's Massimo De Losa from Amazon. He's Chief Evangelist at Amazon. And as you know, Amazon is one of the companies who's providing very big, important pieces of the AI infrastructure. And I'm sure that all of you who are in the AI world in one capacity or another would be very interested in telling us what he has to say about artificial intelligence and the role of Amazon. Thank you very much for coming, and welcome, Massimo.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Very happy to be here. So you're braving the tropical weather that we have. So I live in Luxembourg, and I was expecting a little better from Barcelona, but it is what it is. I'm happy to see you here. My name is Max, and I'm here to talk to you about Alexa, what we're doing today, what is the opportunity, why maybe you should pay attention to what's happening with voice, and how you can reap the benefit to create new things on voice. So first of all, why voice? Voice is natural. Voice is what we have. Voice is how we communicate. Voice is how we gauge the development of new human beings. We have been using voice for a number of years, for hundreds of thousands of years. It's natural, it's ours, it's immediate, and does not require the other senses necessarily to work and to exchange information. So we are in a very specific moment. We're talking about voice revolution here. We're talking about a change in the way that the things the information are exchanged with machines. So the same way that more or less, give it or take a few years, every 10 years we have a major change in the way that we interact with machines, in the way we have human-computer interactions. We are right now on the cusp and living currently this voice user interface phase. This is not something that is going to replace the web. It's not something that is going to replace mobile. It's something that complements these experiences by adding the immediacy of voice. But this is a set of opportunities. These are new skills to learn. These are new opportunities to create new things to build and new delightful experiences to provide to your customers. How is this possible? So this is possible because speech understanding has gone, and you see from this hockey stick diagram, speech understanding has evolved enormously, has developed fantastically given the power of things like cloud computing. So think about it, virtually unlimited computing power, virtually unlimited storage that makes possible these calculations. Because these processes, these problems or these challenges are fantastically complex. We've been very lucky, and we put years of invention into this. We started more than 5 years ago. We had enormous power from Amazon Web Services for our cloud, the cloud that we use behind Alexa. We had hundreds of extremely gifted voice scientists and data scientists that made this possible. Because these problems are not easy. If you think about machines, don't disambiguate very well. We, depending on which culture we come from, human beings are pretty good in disambiguation. So we say one thing, meaning a lot more. Machines don't do that. They cannot disambiguate very well. So just a simple example here. We're talking about automatic speech recognition. So this is the portion, this is the piece of voice science that actually understands and extrapolates what a user is saying, what a human being is saying, to extrapolate an intent. So let's say I say 4 miles. 4 miles could be a distance measure, could be something else. It could be something for a person named Miles, could be something 4 miles. This is another one, or 4 miles in this case. Think about this. As a human being, most times I will be able to understand what is the meaning intended from the context. Machines don't have that, so we had to develop, invent a lot of this. Now, I work mostly with what we call the Alexa Skills Kit. The Alexa Skills Kit is how you add experiences into Alexa. You can add, you can teach there's a cloud-based artificial intelligence that we call Alexa, new skills, new experiences, new things. And we've seen a dramatic growth on the developers base, the number of skills. So we have more than 30,000 right now. And you can see here the growth that we've enjoyed. There is a number of developers that are working already with us, providing these experiences to their customers. But why should you perhaps get a voice experiences for your customer? What should you invent? So there are things like new channels, like Starbucks, for example, or you want to enhance, so you have customers or traveler bases. That's what your customers are. You want to enhance their experiences like United does, for example. Check in via voice. Think about it. I'm doing something else. I'm finishing something up. I'm pressing my shirt before I travel. I'm in my hotel. They say, United, check me in for my flight. Boom, done. And then the boarding passes comes directly. So there's a number of things that you can do. You can, there is Dunkirk. Some of you may be familiar. A huge movie produced last year. There was a marketing campaign that involved creating a voice experience, a gamified marketing experience. There was a very immersive game on voice, and this was to promote this movie. So if you think about just do something for your user, make it interesting, and then you will reach out and you will open up new delightful experiences. I'm not going to read all of these examples, you have them there, but some of you that might be interested in bridging, for example, the realities between voice, virtual, the physical world. Activision, an example, with Destiny 2. It came to us with a delightful proposal. They say, what if we take this element of the game, which is a ghost. A ghost is an element that some of you might not be playing with Destiny 2. Maybe the majority of you are not playing with Destiny 2, but there is this entity that hovers inside the game, and you can exchange information, does things for you. And they say, hey, guys, why don't we create an actual device? We put it outside of the screen in the real world, and we voice enable that so that that experience becomes a bridge between the game that I'm playing and the physical world. So think about that. There is an enormous amount of opportunities and possibilities here. But then, what is the reach? Current reach, we have Alexa in a number of voices around the world. We're constantly improving and working on to bring to more places in the world. Alexa-enabled devices are available in more than 80 countries currently. And a number of form factors. This is the current lineup that we do have of Amazon-made Alexa-enabled device. Why am I making that distinction? Because skills and those experiences don't work only on things made by Amazon. We actually opened up this platform in a free of charge fashion, providing a set of tools and framework to physically create experiences and to bring Alexa into devices. Let's say this is any device that a manufacturer makes. As long as this device has a microphone, a speakerphone, and a connection, can have Alexa in it. So think about that. So we can enable a number of things. So with this framework, this is the one that you do have here. Where is this? To the left. So Alexa voice service. You can embed voice Alexa into your products. This opens up a number of opportunities. There is a number of partners that are making Alexa into a number of their products, embedding Alexa. I've seen caps for visually impaired people that actually tell what's in front of the user using Alexa. I've seen Alexa-enabled jackets. There is Alexa lamps, everything, Alexa in cars, super important use case for that. But the point is that you have a number of opportunities here to reap, to create, to invent. The Skills Kit, for example, is the one where you can create the voice-first equivalent of apps for Alexa. Works with a front-end, so to speak, equivalent, which we call interaction model. You develop a conversation. It's as simple as that. You develop a conversation on a whiteboard, on a piece of paper, depending on the extent of the complication that you want to achieve and the level of interaction you want to achieve. You don't even think about developing anything first. You develop this conversation. Then you take two human beings and you start playing out this conversation. And that has to be natural. If that's not natural between two people, you can be sure it's not going to be any more natural between a person and a machine. So you first work on the conversation, then comes the development of the actual skill, which is basically just JSON payloads exchanged between this front end, your skill interaction model, and the back end. That could be a back end of your choice, or as we recommend, to use AWS Lambda. All of this exchange between user, the AWS cloud that hosts Alexa, and your backend, usually in average is about half a second. So it makes a very natural interaction. Alexa is constantly evolving. We're constantly adding to this set of tools, to this set of features. We're very vested. There is thousands of people within Amazon working in Alexa. So, but think about this. I wanted to make you think about the size of the opportunities that we're talking about here. I have 3 kids. My kids use Alexa-enabled devices at home extensively. And think about this. There's a whole generation of youth right now that is growing up assuming that you can always and you will always be able to talk to your house. Think about that. So this is a breakthrough. This is a change. This is an epochal change. There is a whole generation that assuming that you can definitely talk with your ambient. So this is so powerful that it's happening, and you can reap this right now. Now, we learned a number of things with our skills developer in 2017. Customers are expecting this, are expecting voice to be the tool, the interface used to run and manage your car, your house, your experiences, your entertainment, and so on. But that expectation is growing. So what's working today is not necessarily what is going to work for them, what is going to meet the bar 6 months from now. You have yourself to keep evolving your experience. So you start small, then you add, then you continue to add, you go for your moonshot, but you have to progress. That expectation is a moving bar, and it's happening right now. You also have to invest user testing. As I mentioned before, just get human beings to actually play out conversation. Remember why we're doing this, why hopefully you will be doing this. Because this is natural. Voice is natural. You want to create the natural. You want to exactly represent and reduce that friction in communicating with machine. Now, some of the things, a couple of pointers here on how do you actually create a good skill. You have to have a clear purpose. So skills need to do what they say they would be doing. They also need to, as I mentioned, to evolve and not remain static. They should provide the daily engagement, that the freshness that is going to tick and click and hook your customers, hopefully in daily engagement. And now also you have to create natural conversations. You have to be able to, for example, gracefully handle exceptions. We ask the same things in an enormous amount of ways. We can say, think about not old, but current web development, graphical user interface design. You have a button, let's say, that is an action. Usually you have a label. So there is a one-to-one correlation between that action and the label most of the time. You can change language or graphics, but the point is that there is a one-to-one correlation. The equivalent of that button, of that action that you want to do on Alexa skills, for example, or on voice design, that label is flexible. I can say, go. You might say, proceed. You might say, okay, just go. Give me the next one. So that is that flexibility that human beings use with voice. And that's why your skill needs to understand most requests and being able to gracefully handle all sorts of variation, the richness of human language. And then, of course, respond in a way that is appropriate. Think also in terms, we have opened a new frontier with some of our devices. We have added a screen. Now, this is still a voice-first paradigm. Voice is the core here. But there is additional. We still have more senses. We still have eyes, for example, and you're cooking. You want to get the news, as I was saying before, I'm pressing my shirt in my hotel room and I want to get checked in. I want to see what's the current weather, for example, in my destination, or I want to see the latest video from one of my video flash briefing. I can do that. I can do that and I can augment the experience. That adds additional opportunities for you to build. We're also thinking that there is monetization, and monetary rewards are very important for some developers. So we are adding options or opportunities to monetize from your skill experience. So we have things like in-skills purchasing, for example. You can have microtransaction enabled, for example, with Amazon Pay. So there are things you want that premium experience while your user is using your skill. Let's say you want that a specific new set of questions for the game you're playing. Let's say you want to buy or purchase that specific weapon that is going to kill that specific monster on the game you're playing right now. So that microtransaction can occur on the spot, as well as subscription. Let's say that you have a basic, a normal experience, and then you have a premium experience that you want to provide to your users. So additional opportunities here. Then smart home. This is one of the most powerful use cases that we see with Alexa. A smart home user, in average, engages with Alexa-enabled devices at home about 16 times a day. Think about that. For something that is not in our pocket, on us, 16 times a day is a fairly high level of engagement. And then you can develop a number of things here. There's currently more than 4,000 devices that work with Alexa, that are enabled to work with Alexa from 1,200 different distinct manufacturers. There is a badging program that recognizes those devices that pass a certification and get a badge called Works with Amazon Alexa that can provide additional trust to your customers that that specific device is going to be a seamless and delightful experience when connected. And then continuous innovation on smart home APIs and so. What you're seeing here is two things. So there is a whole new category that we've opened for Alexa skills for kids. My kids love games, and there is a lot of delight, a lot of experiences that can be created with Alexa skills for kids. There is also a new API that we launched last year. It's called the Gadget. What you're seeing here is Alexa-enabled buttons. So these are just the first iteration, the first example of this gadgets family. There is a lot of experiences that can be made. Think about games where you want to make sure that you are able to measure who actually clicked first, who engaged first, who's tapping faster, and so on. So there is a number of things that we're doing on this regard to this. We're always expanding internationally. Some of you might be wondering, might be from countries where Alexa is not yet available. Rest assured that we're constantly improving, constantly adding new experiences. And then we're doing a number of new things. So we're innovating, lots of people involved with this. Now, specifically from you, some of you might be builders. We're looking for builders. There is something that we just launched, is the Alexa Accelerator. You might be taking a snapshot of this one. There is a traveling set of meetings, so they're going to be around Europe and Israel in March. So if you want to go to meet the leaders of these programs and get more information, this is the time. So there is a lot of opportunities to be supported by this program. With this, I thank you very much. I hope I piqued your interest, and feel free to reach out anytime you want with questions or with comments or anything. Thank you very much. Have a great day.